It happened on a quiet evening in Okinawa. The air was warm. The rice cooker had just clicked off, and I was alone in my kitchen, trying to open a jar of miso. Something so simple, yet my hands trembled. My fingers lacked strength. My legs were swollen from the day. My shoulders stiff. At 68, I had accepted that age would slow me down. But I hadn't expected this quiet weakening. The way my muscles seemed to shrink, my balance more fragile, and nights where I'd wake up feeling like I'd aged a whole year in just a few hours. I tried magnesium, just like the labels said. 1 pill after dinner, every night. Still, I felt hollow. I would lie in bed and feel my body sinking deeper into weakness. One day, I visited an old friend, a retired herbalist who lives in a small wooden house in Kumamoto. Over tea, he looked at me and said, "You're not missing magnesium. You're missing what guides it." That night, he prepared a simple meal, miso soup with tofu, warm rice, and a glass of tea mixed with 2 essential vitamins. What followed in the next few weeks felt like a quiet miracle. So today, I want to share this journey with you. Not a cure, but a gentle way to help your body rebuild, especially while you sleep. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from, and what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. The quiet disappearance of strength. Some changes come with warning signs. Others arrive like shadows, soft, slow, and unnoticed, until one day you realize what has been lost. After that evening in my kitchen, I began paying more attention. I noticed how I no longer stood up from the floor without effort, how my shoulders sagged a little lower, how carrying groceries became something I needed to prepare for, not just do. And the strangest part? I wasn't in pain, but I was weaker, not tired from overwork, tired from being. This, my doctor later explained, was something called sarcopenia. It means the loss of muscle that comes naturally with age. It starts quietly in our 60s, and by the time we're in our 70s or 80s, it can affect how we walk, how we balance, even how we breathe. But here's what struck me most. This wasn't just about muscles. It was about independence. When we lose strength, we begin to need help for things we once did without thinking. Climbing stairs, standing after using the toilet, holding a teacup steady. And soon, we stop doing these things altogether because we're afraid of falling, or worse, of being a burden. I spoke with many of my neighbors, old friends from the fishing village, others from the city. The stories were similar. "I just don't move as much anymore," one said. Another told me, "I nap more than I walk," and nearly all of them admitted they felt like they were slowly disappearing from their own lives. In Japan, we have a saying, "Zu yao ha ming." Your legs and hips are your life. When they go, everything else begins to follow. So I asked myself, why do we lose this strength so quietly? I had eaten well my whole life. Rice, vegetables, fish. I walked every day. Yet somehow, my body still betrayed me. That's when I started looking deeper. Not just what I was eating, but how my body was using it. Not just movement, but recovery. And not just sleep, but what my body needed during sleep to rebuild what the day had broken down. The answer, as I would soon learn, was not found in magnesium alone. It lay in the forgotten partners, 2 quiet vitamins that help your body rebuild while you rest. But before I tell you what they are, I want you to ask yourself, have you noticed this slow fading of strength? Have you ever woken up and felt older than when you went to bed? If so, keep listening, because what you need isn't more pills. It's the right kind of nourishment, given at the right time. Why you shouldn't rely on magnesium alone. Like many people, I once believed magnesium was the answer. It's what the labels said, what articles online recommended, what the pharmacist nodded toward when I mentioned muscle cramps. And to be fair, magnesium is important. It helps relax muscles, calm the nerves, and support heart rhythm. But here's the truth. I wish someone had told me earlier. Magnesium is not a magic fix, especially if you're over 60 and your body is changing. You see, magnesium is like a craftsman's tool. It can help build, repair, and regulate. But even the best tool is useless if you don't have the blueprint or the right hands to use it. I remember taking it every night after dinner. I expected relief. I expected more strength, fewer spasms, better sleep. But instead, I felt the same. Weak, foggy, tired even after 8 hours of rest. I even began wondering, am I doing something wrong? Or is my body just too old to change? Turns out, it wasn't age. It was a lack of supporting nutrients. Magnesium doesn't work in isolation. It needs help, especially from certain vitamins that tell your body what to do with it. Without them, the magnesium can pass right through you, or worse, cause imbalances. One of the biggest challenges we face as we age is nutrient absorption. Our stomach acid lowers, our intestines move slower, and medications can interfere with what we absorb. That means even if you're eating well or taking supplements, your body may not be using them effectively. In traditional Japanese living, we rarely took pills. Instead, we focused on balance, on eating foods that work together. Fish, fermented vegetables, seaweed, tofu. These weren't just meals, they were combinations carefully passed down through generations to support the whole body, not just one symptom. So when I realized magnesium alone wasn't helping, I went back to these roots. I began studying what helped my parents and grandparents stay strong into their 80s and 90s. What I found surprised me. It wasn't the amount of magnesium that mattered, it was whether the body could activate it. Two vitamins stood out, vitamins that act like quiet guides, helping magnesium go where it needs to go. Without them, it's like trying to mail a letter with no address. We'll talk about those vitamins in the next part. But I want to leave you with this thought. If you've been taking magnesium and not feeling a difference, and it's not your fault, it's just incomplete, there's more to the story. And once I added these two vitamins to my nighttime routine, something changed. I didn't just sleep better, I woke up with strength I hadn't felt in years. So don't give up. The answer might be simpler than you think. The first quiet healer, vitamin D and K, my friend in Kumamoto, he was never in a rush. He taught me something precious. When the body forgets, we remind it gently. That night, after our meal of miso soup and natto, he handed me a small ceramic cup. Inside was warm barley tea infused with a blend of two vitamins, vitamin D and vitamin K. I looked at him, puzzled. I thought vitamin D was for bones, I said. He smiled and replied, and bones are what hold your strength. In modern medicine, we often look at nutrients in isolation. One for this problem, one for that. But in traditional Japanese living, everything is connected. What you eat, how you sleep, even the way you breathe. Vitamin D is like sunlight captured in your cells. It tells your body, it's time to build. Without it, the body can't absorb calcium properly. And without calcium, your muscles and bones begin to wither. You feel it when you try to lift something and your arms tremble, when you walk and your legs feel unsteady. But here's what many people don't know. Vitamin D needs vitamin K to do its job safely. While vitamin D helps absorb calcium into your bloodstream, vitamin K tells that calcium where to go, into the bones, not into your arteries. It's the guide, the whisperer behind the curtain. Together, these two vitamins support not just bone density, but muscle strength, joint stability, and nighttime recovery. And the older we get, the more we need this partnership. When I began taking this blend in the evenings, the changes didn't come overnight, but within 2 weeks, I noticed it's something small, but powerful. I woke up without that deep, hollow ache in my hips. I could rise from bed without swinging my legs over the side like dead weight. My steps felt less cautious. And most importantly, I started trusting my body again. Now let me be clear. I didn't take high doses. In fact, my friend insisted on low and gentle amounts. The body listens better when you whisper, he said. He recommended getting sunlight each morning, even just 10 minutes with the sleeves rolled up. And during cloudy seasons, or for those who can't go out, a supplement with D3 and K2 taken after dinner. Not during the day, at night, when the body begins its repair work. And what foods support these vitamins naturally? In Japan, we eat grilled mackerel or salmon, rich in vitamin D natto, the fermented soybeans most people outside Japan find odd, but it's one of the best sources of vitamin K2. Egg yolks, slightly soft-boiled dark leafy greens like komatsuna or spinach, which offer vitamin K1, still helpful. And of course, miso soup, which supports gut health. Where these vitamins are absorbed, I began to build my dinners around these ingredients. A small bowl of rice, miso soup with tofu, steamed greens with sesame, and sometimes grilled fish. It wasn't complicated. It was healing. Some mornings I would sit by the window with a small journal and write how I felt waking up. And gradually, the words changed, from stiff to light, from tired to rested, from weak to steady. That is what vitamin D and K gave me. Not energy like caffeine or strength like a steroid, but a quiet return to my own body. So if you've been focusing only on calcium or magnesium, I invite you to look deeper. Your bones and muscles are listening. Sometimes they just need the right message at the right time. And for me, that message was a warm cup of tea and 2 forgotten vitamins working together while I slept. The forgotten spark, vitamin B12 and folate. There's a kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. Even after 8 hours in bed, I would wake up feeling like I had walked all night. My arms ached, not from work, but from stillness. My legs moved, but slowly, as if they had to remember how. That's when my friend handed me something else, a tiny amber bottle with a dropper. Inside was a gentle liquid blend of vitamin B12 and folate. He told me, this is for your blood and your nerves, but more than that, it's for your sense of aliveness. I didn't understand at first, but what he meant became clear in the days that followed. You see, vitamin B12 and folate are essential for cell regeneration. They don't just help your blood stay healthy, they help your muscles rebuild, your nerves communicate, and your brain stay sharp. They are quite literally the spark behind how your body repairs itself, especially while you sleep. As we age, our ability to absorb B12 from food declines. The stomach produces less acid, and many medications, especially those for heartburn or diabetes, interfere with absorption. Folate or folic acid is found in many foods, but it's easily destroyed in cooking, and it works best in balance with B12. When you lack these two, the signs are subtle at first. You feel more tired than usual. You lose muscle even if you eat well. You forget words or lose focus. You feel tingling in your hands or feet, and sometimes you stop feeling joy. That was me. I didn't feel sad exactly, but I felt less, like something inside me had dimmed. So, every night before bed, I began taking one small drop of B12 and folate under my tongue. My friend said this method helps it absorb faster, bypassing the slow digestive system of aging bodies. I also started adding more natural sources to my dinner: soft-boiled eggs, steamed spinach, boiled edamame, grated daikon with bonito flakes, and sometimes a small piece of liver, a traditional food many elders in Japan used to eat once a week. Within a week, I felt more awake, not just in my body, but in my spirit. I started remembering names more quickly. My hands stopped tingling. But the most surprising change, I began humming again. Just small tunes while sweeping the floor, quiet songs from my childhood. That was the real sign. I was coming back to myself. In Western medicine, we often chase numbers, lab results, dosages, deficiencies. But in Japan, we often ask, how do you feel when you wake up? How do you move through your day? These two vitamins, B12 and folate, help you feel present. They bring clarity, calmness, and coordination. And when taken at night, just like vitamin D and K, they help the body restore its natural rhythm. But don't overdo it. My friend warned me, let the body guide you. More is not always better. A single drop can open the door. So now, before bed, I have a simple ritual. A light meal. A quiet moment. One drop under the tongue. Then I breathe. Slowly, deeply, and trust my body to rebuild itself while I sleep. I tell you this, not as a doctor, but as someone who has lived through the fog, the fatigue, the fear that it's all downhill from here. It's not. Your body hasn't given up. It's just asking for the right kind of help. And sometimes that help comes in the smallest, softest form. A drop of life under your tongue, reminding your muscles, you are not done yet. How to combine these vitamins with a Japanese-inspired evening meal. There's a quiet wisdom in how Japanese elders eat. Not rushed, not distracted, just present, with the food, the moment, and the body it nourishes. My friend always said, dinner is not the end of the day. It's the beginning of your healing. And that healing begins with what you put on your plate, especially when you're over 60, and your body needs every bit of help to restore what the day has taken. After learning about vitamin D, K-beta, and folate, I began looking at my dinners differently, not just as a meal, but as medicine, soft, natural, comforting medicine. I didn't count calories. I didn't follow strict plans. I simply returned to what my grandmother used to cook. Here's what my evening looked like. 1. A bowl of miso soup with soft tofu, wakame seaweed, and green onions. This supports digestion and gently warms the body, preparing it for rest. 2. Steamed rice, not too much, just enough to feel grounded. 3. A small piece of grilled fish, usually salmon or mackerel, both rich in vitamin D and natural omega-3s. 4. A side of natto with mustard and green onions. This sticky, fermented soybean dish is packed with vitamin K2. Some people outside Japan struggle with the texture, but for us, it's a quiet secret to longevity. 5. boiled spinach or komatsuna greens with a touch of sesame oil, a gentle source of folate and vitamin K1. 6. And sometimes a soft-boiled egg, rich in both B12 and D. 7. No heavy sauces, no sugar-laden dressings, just clean, warm food served slowly and with care. 8. After dinner, I would wait an hour. Then I'd take my 2 evening supplements. 9. A small capsule or drop of vitamin D3 with K2. 10. A sublingual B12 and folate blend, taken under the tongue. This timing was important. As the body begins to relax and prepare for sleep, the nutrients are absorbed more efficiently. And while you rest, they begin their work, supporting muscle repair, calming the nervous system, and restoring energy for the next day. There's something beautiful about knowing your body is working for you even while you're sleeping. You're not losing time, you're regaining strength. And this is not about perfection. Some nights, I ate leftovers. Some nights, I just had soup and tea. But I stayed consistent. Because healing doesn't come from one big effort. It comes from small, loving habits done again and again. I often think of my grandmother, sitting on the tatami mat, sipping her soup with both hands. She didn't know the names of these vitamins, but she knew how to live in harmony with her body. She lived to 97, strong and clear-minded to the very end. You don't need to become Japanese to eat like this. You just need to eat with intention, to give your body what it truly needs, and to trust that even the simplest foods, when chosen well, can help you rebuild muscle night after night. Gentle morning and evening movements to support muscle recovery. In Japan, there is a quiet ritual that many elders follow, not just what they eat, but how they move. My grandmother used to say, if you don't move your body, it forgets how to move. And she was right. Even the best vitamins, the most nourishing meals, cannot build strength if we do not signal to the body, I still need this muscle. That signal doesn't have to be loud. You don't need to lift weights or run laps. Especially if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, the goal is not to push, but to remind. So here's what I began doing. Every morning, before breakfast, and every evening, after my light dinner, I gave my body 5 to 10 minutes of gentle movement. Not exercise, just quiet activation. These are the movements I still do today. 1. Heel raises. Strengthens calves, improves balance. I stand near the kitchen counter, lightly holding it for support. Slowly rise onto the balls of my feet, then lower back down. 10 times, slowly, feeling the ground beneath me. It teaches my body, I am still upright. I am still strong. 2. Sit and stand. Strengthens thighs, hips, and core. Using a firm chair, I sit down and stand up without using my hands. If I feel tired, I use one hand for support. I do 5 repetitions. Each one is a message to my legs. You're still needed. 3. Shoulder rolls and neck stretches. Releases tension, improves circulation. I roll my shoulders forward 5 times, then backward. I tilt my head gently side to side, holding for a few breaths on each side. This brings awareness to the upper body, often forgotten as we age. 4. Ankle circles. Supports blood flow and joint mobility. Sitting in a chair, I lift one foot slightly off the ground and rotate the ankles slowly in one direction, then the other. 5 times each, then switch. This is a gentle way to wake up the legs. 5. Bed stretch, evening only. prepares body for sleep. Lying in bed, I stretch both arms overhead, point my toes, and take 3 deep breaths, then relax completely. This helps the body transition into rest while gently engaging the muscles used during the day. So now you know my quiet secret. Not a cure, not a miracle, but a way to give your body what it needs, at the time it needs it most. At night, while you sleep. Forget magnesium alone. Instead, remember the partners that help your body truly rebuild: vitamin D and K, vitamin B12, and folate. Given gently after a warm, nourishing meal, supported by simple movement, and wrapped in deep, restful sleep. This isn't about being young again. It's about being strong in the years you still have. It's about waking up and feeling steady on your feet. It's about making tea without spilling, climbing the stairs without fear, lifting your grandchild, and most of all, trusting that your body is still working for you, not against you. I've lived long enough to know that we cannot fight time, but we can walk alongside it with grace and with care. And I hope truly that what I've shared tonight brings you some hope too. Before we go, I must remind you gently, health information on YouTube is not a substitute for personal medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or healthcare provider if you have concerns about your health. And if you feel unwell or think you may need emergency care, don't wait. Call your doctor or local emergency services right away. Now, before you go, tell me what part of this story spoke to you the most. Leave a comment below. I read every one of them. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. There's more to come, and I'd love for you to be there with me. Until then, sleep well. Your body is listening.